My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today we are doing a live price update on BTC to the USD, what the charts say, what you can expect as a result, and most importantly, how you can profit from the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of humanity. So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. Let's go ahead and make this money. If this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as a crypto trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you'll soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you can profit as a result, and today is no exception. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you like, subscribe if it's your first time. Come on in. Welcome to the community. The doors are always open, and hit that notification icon so you get these videos every time I put them out. I'm, putting out a lot more content now. I think this is a very pivotal time in the market, and we're incentivizing participation by way of BTC. So we're giving away some free Bitcoin. If you want to enter the giveaway, it's two ways you can do it. The first is to go into the Facebook group and share this post right here. We choose a new winner every Friday. So go into the Facebook group, #1 Bitcoin group in the world, #1. We got about 25,000 of my best friends coming together to keep each other empowered and in profit in the marketplace. And all you need to do is share this post right here. In addition to that, we're giving away some Bitcoin to the YouTube community. So if you want to enter that contest, just leave a comment on this video guessing Friday's price for Bitcoin. Again, every video I do is another chance for you to win some free BTC. All you need to do is guess Friday's price. The closest without going over will be selected and notified. Good luck to everyone that enters the contest. So, with the housekeeping things out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into BTC on the USD. It used to be a 343, but now we got a lot more data. This is a daily chart, and one of the things I wanted to do was show kind of like this long-term, not necessarily long-term moving average, but long-term trend line, right? And that's really just going to be from the low of the 77 right there before we had that first big cycle to the low of the 77 right there. This is basically, the second wave of Bitcoin, right? If you go back over here, this was kind of, where's my little coloring box? Oh, there it goes. How come? I swear it's like something changes every single time. This was like our first cycle, right? And it was a very prominent cycle. Like this first little green box, take that out for a minute, color this thing like blue, right? This first little blue box right here, this was a very important cycle. This was kind of like Bitcoin's birthday, you know what I'm saying? Even though it was already like 8 years old when it happened. But if you remember, the price went from, like $500 back when BK first bought his first Bitcoin, somewhere down there around $400-500, all the way up to 12,000, right? Almost hit 20,000, and then settled right around $3,000, right? That's a huge wave. It's a huge cycle, and right now we're on basically phase 2. Phase 3, because this would have been phase 2, right? That was phase 2 right there. And we can color this thing like, what, orange maybe? Right? That's phase 2 right there. And now you start to see how this thing coming together. Now we're getting into phase 3, right? And phase 3 is going to be a big one. This is going to be a very, very, very big one. If you just look at the scale of these 3 cycles, right? From 500 to 12,000 back to 3,000. From 3,000 to 65,000 back to 18,000, right? Now we go from 18,000 up to what? If we just do a basic Fibonacci thing, and keep in mind, I'm freestyling on Fibonacci, but that's for the last cycle that we just completed. This is literally, what it looks like. You know, that's for that middle cycle. So if we wanted to look at what the growth potential is, you probably want to start to do something like that. And that's the scale we'll be tuned to, hopefully, on this next cycle, to where you can see we're literally just getting started. But this thing could cap off north of, it's probably going to hit his head on 108, but then have the potential to go north of 150,000. Keep in mind, that's a very long-term cycle. Like I said, we're just getting started in this thing. Sometimes they have like the sideways Fibonacci's, but I haven't honestly used that enough. It's something like that. It's 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. So if it was 2 in the first one, sometimes you can do something like that to where it's 1, 2. This is 1, 2, 3.5, right? So it went from 2 to 3.5, right? To where this one maybe becomes a 5 piece, right? Or a 5.5, 4.5, 5.5, right? So that's the 0.5. Sorry, it's so sloppy. That's 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and then this becomes 4.5. This is just like a linear, association. But if we put a flag in the ground right there, that's the complete cycle. That's going all the way out to probably 2027. But if you look about halfway in between that, that's when you start to get the peak of this thing, probably somewhere in quadrant 2. So you'll be looking at something like that. I say all that to say, and maybe it, you could do like a staircase pattern to where 140 up there, 108 down there. And that would presumably be, I feel comfortable using that. As early as 24, as early as September. Imagine that. 100,000 before the end of 2024. So let me take these drawings off because that's a lot of stuff, right? But at the end of the day, all we did to figure out this trend line is we started to look at the cycles, right? Breakout, breakdown, flatline, breakout, breakdown, flatline, right? And so if we just do a simple trend line, like that was the beginning, that's the beginning. Remember, we kind of broke it into those quadrants, and now we start to see, okay, well, what does our different channels look like, right? Because Bitcoin flows in cycles. Like everything I attribute on this channel, as much as I can, I correlate it to water. Water moves in waves. Waves never die. They just, eventually form smaller and bigger waves. Just kind of ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows. What's also interesting about this strategy is it almost kind of forms these little tertiary layers of energy, resistance, support and resistance, psychological agreement, alignment over time. If you look at, out here in Las Vegas, they have like Red Rock Mountain, right? If you look at pictures of mountains, especially like you go out to like the Grand Canyon, like you'll see these different layers built into the mountain, where these are different layers of strata over time, but they line up with each other, It's like the mountain was in a hot period, then it was in a cold period, then it had new iron ore accessible in the environment, so it changed its color. Then it was really, really, really hot, so that burned it a little bit, with all the iron that it had inside of it. It's like these different layers of energy packed onto each other over time. This is what we can do. Same thing in the charts, because energy, doesn't dissipate, doesn't is not able to be destroyed. It merely transforms its shape and form. Energy is water. It can be created or destroyed. It merely transforms states over time, right? So I say all that to say this. This is a very, and I think this last line will go somewhere in here, right? Probably that little guy right there. So we put that right there. And just, in 3 quick support lines, you can start to see, like, this thing is agreeing with the theology that we put together. Like, this is a horizontal support line right there. It came up to it and it failed. You see what I'm saying? Right here, this is another horizontal support line. Came up to it, and now it's starting to stall out a little bit. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to stop here. But what I am saying is that, one of the reasons I pushed that 108 date out to September is because you have a lot of psychological threshold between this price. How come it's not giving me another line? That's weird. Yeah, that's weird. It doesn't want to give me any more trend lines. Right? Because this part of the water was really choppy, right? And one thing you got to think about when there's upward pressure, in the same area that there's downward pressure, it's like a storm, right? It's like a storm cell, right? So you really don't get a clean break through a storm cell. It's like turbulence, on the horizon for Bitcoin's flight. And that's what we start to see with this price level we're at right now. Basically between, I'll say, 42 and 58 is probably like 3 or 4 different psychological threshold levels that we have to clear over the next few months in order to have clear skies, for BTC. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm not saying it won't be done, but I'm saying it probably will take a bit of time. If you just look at, the duration of time in between these 2 points in itself, you're looking at between August 21 and April 22. So you've got a solid, 6 to 8 months of indecision for the market. In addition, you had really 2 big fall off points for this price threshold. So this is going to be, a few months, I think, before we clear, say, 52, 55,000. And then once we cap off at 65, it's going to run, and it's going to run big. So, if you haven't done it yet, I would say now's the time to really start to look at the dollar cost average, the price of BTC. Right now, Bitcoin is valued at $45,000. You really can't get a new car. Like a new Mercedes-Benz is going for like 65K right now. But you can get one of the best financial vehicles ever bestowed upon humanity for 45,000. So, let that sink in with your asset valuation and how you choose to move forward throughout the duration of the future. I think you can start to see some of the positive sentiment return to the market when you got major news media outlets speaking positively about Bitcoin, even at 45,000. This crypto rally is just getting started. And one of the things I teach on this channel is really not to focus on BTC, but to really focus on what strategy you want to accumulate BTC with. And that's how you swing trade the altcoins. And that's what I do better than most YouTubers out there. I give away this knowledge, that I spent about the better part of 20 years developing. And it allows you to systematically evaluate these charts and see the opportunity to accumulate more Bitcoin by swing trading the altcoins. I showed on my video, I think I had a coin on the profit package that broke out for what, 30, something percent in the week since I gave it away to the paid VIP community. So this is, paid services that I'm offering. It is a VIP trading group. Just go to bossofbitcoin.com. Click on that little B icon right there. And VIP trading groups, we got the profit package, $100, $50 for the first month, $100 thereafter. Or if you wanted to set up a one-on-one, I got this option back and available, $300, and pay $100 up front, $200 once we have our session, and we could sit down and chop it up. With portfolio allocation, market trading strategy, and everything I learned on my route to being one of the best and most successful crypto traders in the world. I think this is a great time to really start accumulating some of the altcoins, and that's one of the things I try to do, is direct people to what altcoin I feel is set up for the biggest run. And this is the coin right here. I sent this list out December 21st. It was KSM, and if you go to KSM's chart, you'll see on BTC, right? It had that little break right there. Look at that. That's not a bad chart. That's not a bad chart. Got that nice dovetail hitting, and sent it out on the 21st. Let's go into a smaller window. Yes, yes. Almost like clockwork, right? I sent the people, you know what I'm saying? Sent the people the wire on the 21st, and this thing went from 70K Satoshis all the way up to 109, right? It's crescendoing a little bit, but again, it's just getting started. This is kind of what like Bitcoin looks like, on a macro scale. One of the other things I wanted to show you guys, one of the other reasons I think this is a very, very, very interesting time, positive time to get back into the market, is this chart right here. This is total, right? And what total measures is total 2. So if you type in TOTAL2 into coin market cap, this chart they give you. But this is actually the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. So essentially all of the altcoins, what does that money look like? Now we know Bitcoin is the granddaddy of them all. There's about 50% market cap on the cryptoverse. But we see that this is a buy. Like the whales are, hedge fund managers are back in the market, the day traders are back in the market, and the whales are still trying to decide. But I teach on this channel, it's 3 parts to any given cycle: breakout, breakdown, flatline. What comes next? Bam! You know what I'm saying? Time to put down 2 and pick up 6. You know what I'm saying? Put it on Solana, put it on Cardano, put it on Ethereum, whatever you feel. Hopefully it's something in this profit package, because you see this is popping. You know what I'm saying? 30% in 7 days, and that's on Bitcoin. I mean, if you had 1,000 on it, now you got 1,300. That is how you flip BTC into a new reality. So it's pretty amazing. This is just the beginning of what I feel is a major new cycle that could have Bitcoin up north of 100,000 before the end of the year. So again, we do have our paid VIP groups. We are giving away free Bitcoin. Jump in Facebook, share the group, share the post, or just leave a comment guessing Friday's price for BTC. A new winner every week, a new chance to win every single video. And most certainly, if you haven't done it already, like, subscribe, and share. And let's go ahead and make this money. So with that being said, everybody, it's that time of the day. Signing out. Bows. Boy BK, no matter where you stay. Brazil to Bay or California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player one time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss.
Huh. Arms.